everyone, welcome back to Thankfully Packed. I'm Chris, and today I'm finally going to be tackling this little wall of trailing plants here. As you can see, some of the vines are super long and they desperately need to be trimmed, so I'm going to be chopping and propping today. If you have any propagating, watering, repotting, any planty stuff to do, let's do it together. All right, time to dive in. First, coffee. So the first plant I'm going to be doing is my Pothos Pearls and Jade. I'm really proud of this plant because when I got her, she was basically dead. I got her from a clearance section at a big box store. And I've been trying to grow her long and lush, but this is a little bit too long because, as you saw, it's growing down into the plant underneath, and I don't like that. So I'm going to be propagating some of these longer vines, maybe like a couple of these. And then honestly, what I think I might do is once the propagations grow and they're ready to be potted, I think I'm going to put them back into this main pot. The top could use a little bit more filling out. There's a lot of soil showing, and I kind of just want that really big, lush jungle vibe. So I think that's what we're going to go for today. But we'll see in the future if I decide to just maybe make a second pot and not put them in here. We'll see. I don't know. So the supplies are super simple today. Just have my shears, my little cutters to obviously get a nice clean cut. I've got some alcohol to disinfect them in between each plant. I also have my rainwater. Then I have a variety of little jars that I'm going to be using to actually put the little propagations in so that they can grow. This last product is completely unnecessary. If you just want to throw your propagations into a jar of water, you're good to go. But I'm going to be using these prop drops because I just want the propagations to grow a little bit faster. I want the roots to develop a little quicker so that I can do what I want with them. So anyway, this basically is just a hormone that helps the rooting process speed up. Fun fact, Pothos actually have naturally occurring rooting hormones. So when I cut up this Pothos Pearls and Jade, and I think that Baltic Blue is the Pothos as well, it will release its own, basically it'll release its own version of this. But I'm just going to be adding a couple of drops of this to each propagation jar anyway, just to make things go a little faster. Real quick though, look at these leaves, like amazing. Look how pretty the variegation is on this. I mean, the cream and the white and the green is just so pretty together. I can't wait for this pot to be super lush. Not me hesitating to cut, even though I know it'll be totally fine. So first I'm just gonna prep my jars with the rainwater and the prop drops. This jar is a little cool because it has the cork at the top so that your cuttings don't just like flop on either side. And I definitely added way too much water to this. So I'm just gonna drop some of that into the plant. Oop, there we go. That's better. So this is pretty simple. You just add 4 to 5 drops into each jar, but it's per 16 fluid ounces, and this is definitely not that. So I'm just going to be adding like 1 or 2 maybe instead of 4 or 5. This one is pretty short, so I'm not going to be chopping that one. This one's short as well. This one is definitely getting chopped. And let's see, this one's okay. It's not really going too far past the pot, so I'm going to leave that one alone. But these two definitely are reaching for the next plant underneath. So, oh, this one's even longer than I thought. It was like kind of tangled. These two definitely are going to get a couple of chops. I think I'll cut right here. One. I don't know why I get so nervous every time I chop these. I haven't propagated too much before, but every time I do it, I just feel like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's not going to come back, but it always does. But I have to remind myself right before I do it every time. This one I'm going to leave maybe slightly longer so it can be like a little bit more of an organic look. I'm going to just there. And then you're good to go. Okay, and while I'm here, the top of the pot has a few dead leaves, so I'm just going to take care of those. Which I'm not too worried about because these are the older leaves, so they probably just yellowed in the natural process and basically died, so these are fine. I think this looks a lot better. Like, it's not so long, not so tangled, and I have all of these cuttings now that I'm about to propagate, so I'm just going to give this one a drink of water. I'm just going to be removing the bottom leaves on these so that they can sit inside of the jar a little better. Because you don't want the leaves in the water. Anyway, they'll probably rot, so that's gross. Not what we're going for, so I think that's good. So I'm going to leave these so that they can still photosynthesize. Which jar am I going to choose for this? I think I'll choose this one. It's got a narrow opening, so I think that'll also help them kind of sit in there a little better. Honestly, I think I can get 2 out of this longer vine. Right here. Let's remove this one. Yeah, I'm going to remove this one too. Looks good to me. I'm going to leave this one as well. A close-up of all the nodes that will hopefully be growing roots out of them. All those little bumps. We'll see. Okay, that looks good. Okay, next up is my Philodendron Brazil, which some of these vines are so long. Like if I put the pot right at my head, this one vine is like all the way to my hip. Inches. If you like the colors on the leaves like I do, this one has a stripe down the middle that tends to be creamish yellow or like bright green depending on how much light you give it. I love this plant, but right now it's giving more chaos than queen. So I am going to definitely trim these extra long ones at the bottom. And I don't think I'm going to be putting it back in the pot like I'm going to be doing with the pearls and jade because it is pretty full already. So I might either give it away or just make a new plant. Just going to spray this in between, like I said, just to discourage any bacteria transferring from each plant. So, time for a haircut. And look how leggy that is, meaning like the space in between the nodes is so long. And honestly, it's probably because of the fact that the light is centered on the top of the pot and not too much light is getting to the actual vine. So they're starting to grow super long in between leaves just to get to that light. Like if you can see, let's choose a better example. So this one, the internode spacing is much, much shorter. So this one's got maybe like an inch in between the leaves because it's closer to the top of the pot. And then these trailing vines have about maybe like 2 inches in between. So this is definitely a little bit too leggy. I don't really care for that. So this is the before. Hey, she looks so much better. And I left a couple of long ones just for like the more natural look, but this is so much better. And that's why you should bottom water. I can definitely get several cuttings out of this. This is a lot of vine. So I'm going to cut it again, maybe like down the middle. Flip it up the right way. Okay. So I'm going to remove this leaf right here at the bottom. And I'll leave that one. But I think I'm going to use this jar for it. I put a little Harry Potter chocolate frog on it. I'm going to pop that one. Nope, that's too long. All right, never mind. I'm gonna take this leaf off. There you go. Oh, look at this little baby leaf. Oh my gosh. She's so cute. Oh no, wait, this one's cute too. Look how cute that is. Oh. She's so cute. She needs some help. She needs some help. This is not a good look. So this is my Baltic Blue. This was another clearance plant that I got, and when I got her, she was like 3 stems maybe, not a lot of vines. And so as you can see, she's been growing, but I need to definitely trim her because I don't like this scraggly look. It ain't cute. This plant I've actually chopped and propped before, and then I added the cuttings right back to the pot like I'm planning to do with the Frozen Jade. So because it's so sparse in the middle, I don't like the look of the soil. I don't like that. So I might do the same thing with this one as well because I just want like, boom, I just want like growth. First, you gotta chop.
Okay, full disclaimer, I definitely messed up the trimming of this Baltic Blue. As you can see in this video, I'm cutting above the leaf, which is right above the node, and that is not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to cut below it so that you can remove that bottom leaf and pop it into water. I totally messed this one up. However, it's okay because this plant was so leggy and the spacing was so long in between each node that I was able to get quite a few cuttings to still propagate, and the plant itself is fine. It survived. But yeah, just do as I say, not as I do in this part of the video.
Okay, so I think this is pretty good. A lot more manageable. The vines aren't super long. Ooh, hello roots. There are roots growing out of the bottom of this. Not too many, but there's definitely some roots growing out. Cool.
On this vine, the node is very visible, so I'll pop that into water and it should definitely root. That one should be good. But on this one, I'm cutting above the node again, wrong. Cut below, remove that leaf, and then pop it into water. And I definitely just dropped it. But you know what? I never said I was a professional. We're just here for the fun, for the vibes, and for the occasional learning experience. And look how cool this one's fenestrated. Usually you see that on the bigger leaves on the Baltic Blue, but that little tiny one had a little fenestration. So cute. Anyway, like I said, I was able to get quite a few cuttings with nodes visibly under the water, so I think they should be good, and that is what I'm left with.
All right, so last but certainly not least is my Monstera adansonii, aka the Swiss cheese plant, which has some very long vines right now. So I'm definitely going to be cutting these two and probably getting a few propagations out of just those 2 vines. And then the top looks pretty good to me, so I'm going to leave that alone. So obviously I'm growing mines in a trailing fashion because I like the wall like that. However, I've seen this plant grow huge, beautiful leaves with giant fenestrations, which are these holes in each leaf. And people do it by putting up a moss pole. And I've never done a moss pole before. I've heard they can be kind of like, you kind of either love it or you don't because you have to keep them wet and moist and all that stuff. But anyway, I've seen them grow just amazing on those. So I'm very curious to try it. So perhaps that is what I will do with these cuttings if they root. It sounds like a really fun thing to try, especially since I'm gonna have all these cuttings anyway. So will that be a future video? I don't know. Subscribe and find out. I have these 2 left. So I've got this one and this one. Well, let's see how many I have first and then I'll decide. I think that's pretty good as far as cutting these vines here. There's really only 2 main ones, so I didn't want to go too crazy, and I do still like it trailing a little bit, so I think that's good enough. I'm just gonna take out these dead ones at the top. Oh, wait, one more dead one. There we go. That looks pretty good. This one has a little reservoir, so I can see where the water's at. Pretty helpful, pretty handy. So this is all the cuttings I got from the Monstera. Let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and oh, this is 1. Yes, this is 1, which I'm just gonna remove this bottom leaf. 6, so 6 cuttings, and I think I'm gonna use this wider mouth because these stems are like really thick and I don't really want to fight with it once it roots to try to get it out of these, this like more narrow one. So I'm gonna use this one right here. I think I'm gonna remove this leaf just to make it a little bit easier to put in the jar. Cut it a little more. I still have the node, so it should root there. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I don't know what happened to this leaf here. I think it just like didn't unfurl in time, but it's all like brown here and curled up. So I'm just gonna take that one off and hope that it roots. And then this one is still emerging. We'll see what happens. I don't really like the way it looks like it's kind of falling out. So 1 second. So I have my little plant buddy. He sits at the edge of the pot right there, and then he just kind of holds the cuttings in place so they don't flop over so much like this. So let's add him to this. There we go. He's so cute. I'm just gonna have him holding some of these longer ones, which I think might end up like pulling themselves out of the pot otherwise. He is just gonna be my little helper until these are ready to go. Tell me he's not so cute. Unnecessary plant stuff, but pretty sure you could figure this out with like, I don't know, a binder clip or something, but come on, he is so cute. So we'll give him a pass for cuteness. Okay, so here they are, my 4 new little plant babies. Pothos Baltic Blue, Pothos Pearls and Jade, Monstera Adansonii Swiss Cheese, Philodendron Brazil. Basically, I was a wizard today and I made new plants. Is it magic? I don't know. So that's it for today, guys. Honestly, if you're afraid to chop and prop like I am every single time for some reason, just remember everything's gonna be okay, and the best case scenario is you literally just made a whole new plant. So what did you think? Are you ready to start propagating your plants? Are you already a propagating pro? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this snip and prop video, let me know by hitting the like button below so I can make more videos like these, and definitely subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Oh, and if there's anything specific in the video that you liked, I'll try to put everything in the description below, so don't forget to read that. I'll see you next time. Bye!